What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. The smoke, the dust has settled. San Diego Comic-Con is in the books. For everybody who's been asking, the Hasbro San Diego Comic-Con exclusives are going to be on sale on Hasbro Pulse at noon if you're a Premium Plus member. Yet another reason to get it. And then 1 o'clock for everyone else. So make sure that you are locked in, logged in, all set with your credit card payment information so you don't get shut out when everything, including the G.I. Joe Classified Series Chuckles, the Transformers, Star Wars, etc., go up for sale and pre-order, including that Marvel Legends, Deadpool, and Bob that so many of y'all have been asking about. But with San Diego Comic-Con in the rear view, I decided it was time to take a look at my 10 favorite reveals, and I guess I should probably say 10-ish favorite reveals because it's not just one figure for these different number slots. I mean, I cheated a lot of the time. It's not just my number 10 is one figure. It may be a lump of several different figures, but I can come up with this list. So I decided to cheat. So anyway, I decided to break it down. I wanted a few days to pass so the initial excitement would be over with. And then I could look at it more objectively and go, yeah, these are definitely my favorite reveals from San Diego Comic-Con. So to kick things off, I wanted to start with Mattel's WWE line because I think they had a lot of really good reveals, some surprising non-announcements, some surprising non-reveals, and possibly losing the license to Macho Man Randy Savage. No confirmation on that, but it seemed like all signs, dig it, were pointing to someone else. Jada Toys taking that license. So hopefully you got all the WWE Mattel Macho Man figures you could possibly want. But that didn't mean we weren't getting some first in line figures for the Elite line. First up was a figure I was so excited to finally see join this setup. It's Terry Bam Gordy from the Fabulous Freebirds. He's got this 2-in-1 setup where he's rocking his Executioner look from when he teamed with Mankind going against The Undertaker. I don't really need that version, but I figured this is a great opportunity to use one of those bigger, larger molds of figures that I have just sitting in the spare parts bin so I can cobble this together, make a 2-in-1 for myself, but definitely clearly making this my Terry Bam Gordy, the Fabulous Freebirds Enforcer, the Big Thumper, the UWF champion. So I can mix and match him and Michael Hayes and have them fight the Von Erichs, DiBiase, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and UWF Mid-South action. Really excited to get him finally into the line. Hopefully it won't be that long before we get a Buddy Jack Roberts and a Jimmy Jam Garvin as well, so I can have the full set of Freebirds. And I guess you could argue Angel of Death and Iceman King Parsons, but the four are my important ones for that. And then next up is another really essential figure to me for any WWF collection. That's Captain Lou Albano. We saw the Superstars version of him, and it's so cool to get him this quickly into the Elite line. You notice he's got the big belly going. They didn't give him some ridiculously small, thin, slender mold. This is Captain Lou in all his excess glory. Got the chest hair going, the rubber bands on his pony beard and his cheek. And that head sculpt just really captures Captain Lou for me. Now, of course, Dynamite Kid is a priority. We already got a Coliseum collection version of George Animal Steel. We already got British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, and even Andre the Giant. So now we've got Captain Lou hanging out with the gold record to get smashed on his head too. That's really cool. I'm so excited to see him joining this line. Then moving away from WWE, moving on to the Black Series. There weren't a lot of options on this, but I was so hyped up to see Pre Vizsla coming to the line, and he's got the Darksaber, he's got the blasters that we normally see with these figures, so that's cool. He's got his really unique helmet, so that was a great inclusion as well. And it's just so exciting to finally have one of the core main characters of Clone Wars in figure form. You see he's got the jetpack too, and the only reason he's a little bit lower on my list is because it really looks like he's using that old Jango Fett mold, and that's a little bit outdated at this point. They needed to do a better, more up-to-date version, but everything else about the figure looks great, from his head sculpt with that really deep scar, the hair sculpt. That looks great because he's got the little buzz that he had in Clone Wars, and then that 5 o'clock shadow / coming in beard, really nice. Then you see the detail on that Beskar armor. Awesome looking figure, and I cannot wait to have a pivotal key figure in the Clone Wars finally in this line. And then their pipeline reveals that were also really exciting, from the battle droid, the super battle droids, and the C-3PO battle droid. I really hope they include an alternate default regular head. That way I can super army build. That would be really great to get a 2-in-1 or 2-pack of army builders, so I can just flood my shells with battle droids to surround my Jedi, to surround my clone troopers, because it's so long overdue. And they're also including droidicars as well, so I'm really going to have my Separatist army built up over the next few months, finally. So General Grievous, Count Dooku will have some actual backup to fight all these Jedi and clone troopers. And then we go on to a new company that just kind of came out of nowhere. Syndicate Collectibles comes in really strong, really hard with their debut reveal here at Comic-Con. They had so many figures, but to me, their standout was the Double Dragon figures, Billy and Jimmy Lee. I mean, so great. These versions of these guys, I mean, I was like, whoa. And these and a lot of these other photos you'll see are from Toy Arc, and they do such an outstanding job covering all these cons. They have the best galleries all over. And also check out Matt K's work over on the Push. But woo, these figures really surprised me. They've got really great articulation, and they look outstanding. And if you've been playing video games at any point in time, especially when the arcades were big and major, you plunked a lot of quarters into Double Dragon. It's really cool to be able to get them in figure form and well articulated. Nice shading on their outfits as well. I mean, these are really great jobs. Really great work on these sculpts, and you see just the distinction between the two, but they actually look like brothers. I'm really excited to get these guys in the line. And if I was going, hey, what else would I possibly ask for this? They did it as well, because they also threw in Bloodsport figures. And I mean, can you beat how these guys look? Probably not. I mean, they look amazing. Outstanding work again. Syndicate Collectibles really came out of nowhere at Comic-Con this year, and so impressed with what they did, and can't wait to see what else they're going to deliver over the course of the next few years, because if this is their start, it's going to be amazing. And speaking of other companies that kind of really made some headway in the last few months, gotta be Jada Toys with their Street Fighter line. They revealed so many new figures this time, from Dawson, Guile, really great articulation on these guys. They look like they do in the video games. But of course, to me, the big standout was seeing DJ finally in a figure form since the Chiefs. It's been too long. I don't even remember if we got one in this kind of articulation scheme before, because Soda Toys started, and it seemed like they were going to get to this next round of World Warriors with Fei Long, T-Hawk, Cammy. I think we only got Cammy and Fei Long, but definitely wanted DJ. Didn't get him in the line. So to see him coming from Jada is really exciting. And the hair flying, the chain, he's got alternate head sculpts as well. And this line has been so much fun, and it's really great to see DJ joining the party as well. And then there's M. Bison, Chun-Li, and Cammy coming into the fray too. That's really cool to see her classic outfit. They're not censoring, toning down anything. Really good to see her in the line as well. So then next up, just continuing with the hits, NECA Toys just came hard with this one. Flash Gordon. Gordon's alive. Got these guys, and it was so cool to see them in such great likenesses. I mean, just the whole gang. It's Ming Merciless in his I'm about to execute Flash Gordon attire, and that the detail on the outfit just looks great. It's amazing. Then we've also got Flash Gordon too, and the head sculpt on him came out really sharp, and he just looks really good. I mean, check out these other head sculpts on Flash too. I mean, they look really, really good. I'm just really impressed with how they pulled off all these figures. But my favorite was, without a doubt, Hawkman, Prince Voltan, and the likeness on him was so good that my wife, who swears none of these figures look like the actor, was like, wow, this is the guy from Flash Gordon. I was like, whoa, I cannot believe it, because she never thinks anybody looks like the figure. So for her to be impressed was super impressive to me too. So yeah, I just love this head sculpt, and they did such a great job capturing that likeness. All the detail in the costume, and just, man, really knocked me out with this figure here. And then we're going to Marvel Legends, and this is kind of low for them. They're much lower than I would have expected, but they had some figures, including this head-scratching Justice figure that just really irritated me. But one figure that I was so happy to finally see done now is a new updated version of Vision, and he looks great. Looks like he's using a Vulcan mold, so he looks really big. He's not small anymore. Definitely got some size to him, and he's got the robe collar. He's got a great expression. Paul Harding sculpted this, if I'm remembering his X account properly. Now, one of you all mentioned that they really should be fixing this torso because they've done this gold torso piece for Yondu with Guardians of the Galaxy, and they have it for Baron Zemo. So they really could have done that for Vision. So I don't know why they're going with this old school look. Maybe it's to just help his articulation, but it does seem kind of weird to not have that with a premium character like Vision. So then we've got him, and just another look at Vision real fast. He looks really heroic, and I love the fact that he will now be able to sit next side by side to that 20th anniversary Captain America, the Iron Man, the really great 80th anniversary of Marvel Comics Thor figure, Black Panther, the new Hawkeye. It looked like he belongs. Looks like a premium Avenger, not too small, looking like Scarlet Witch has to look down at him. This really looks like a definitive version of Vision. And I don't know how soon it's going to be before I need another one. So I'm really, really glad to see him finally in the line with an update. And then we get this Magneto figure, and this guy, whoo! I mean, I've wanted a better version even like as soon as I got that 3-pack, but this really nails it. I mean, I love the shading around his eyes, really capturing the fact that he should have some shadows coming in from that helmet setup. And this really looks cool. I just love that head sculpt. He's not looking too mad, not looking too sad. The detail work is really well done. You see how the cape has a little flow up. It looks like in this section here, it's pegged in under this part of the collar piece, so it's not going to move around. It's not going to flop out like that old where if you move Magneto even a little bit, the peg just popped out, and it's like, so frustrating. It was this big decision. Should I glue it in or just let it ride and just keep going with it? And I ultimately didn't glue it in, so I'm glad because now I finally have a much better version of Magneto. But I'm really happy with how this one turned out. And I think they really, really did a nice job how they executed this Magneto figure. I mean, check this out. This is Magneto in all his glory. He's all set to intimidate the X-Men, mutant kind, humanity, the whole work. And I love how the cape just flares. So it's not in the way. You can do all the Magneto poses you want. Of course, there's a downside. There's no new unique accessory pieces with him, but I kind of really like how this X-Men 97 line turned out as a whole, and really impressed with Magneto, but I easily could have thrown in Gambit, Storm, Wolverine, basically everyone except for Rogue. I think this wave just kind of surprised me with how well executed it was and everything that they put into it. I just wish they had more accessories because it's still that higher price point, but we're not getting nearly what we used to for the same price. And I guess you just kind of keep waiting and playing the clearance game, despite what my man Dan would otherwise say to do with these figures. Then next up, McFarlane Toys finally delivers what I've been asking for way too long. And it's kind of ridiculous that it took so many series, so many waves to finally get a classic Wonder Woman. You see she's going to be an ultra articulated action figure with a needless NFT. That means we're going to be paying that $30 premium price point as opposed to the $19.99, $22.99 that we're paying for these other McFarlane Toys figures. Not loving that, but Wonder Woman is one of those figures. If you're going to do the articulation right and do the head sculpt just so and create the definitive version of Wonder Woman like they've already done with the Nightfall Batman and the Flashpoint Flash, I'm okay with it. And I just hope this figure really lives up to all of my massive expectations. Now we're shockingly already on the home stretch, and maybe you could tell from my shirt, I was really excited about G.I. Joe. I tried so hard not to just flood my top 10 with, hey, everything from the Classified series, but they had to get their own separate slot for a few instances on this top 10 list. And just the render reveals were outstanding. Here's General Hawk, and he just looks amazing. Look at all that detail with the metals on his bomber jacket. The little fur tuft looks great too. I mean, this really looks like the guy who's leading and in charge of the Joe team. He's got different goggles you can place on top of this helmet, and it's a really classic one, not like some of the other more modern ones we've seen, even with the original 13. So maybe people will grab a bunch of Hawks and use these as more of a classic style helmet. For the original 13 characters, you see he's got a nice array of weapons too. Looks like Gung-Ho's grenade launcher, shotgun, his classic pistol that goes in here, and then you got another one goes there. So Hawk is not going to go into this battle against Cobra lacking for any accessories, any weapons. He's coming for it really hard, and I'm just really happy with how he turned out. And then, of course, we got more Dreadnoks, and I was like, okay, let's not mention them, but Buzzer and Ripper really, really look good. But to me, the standout of these single card G.I. Joe figures was Mutt and Junkyard. I mean, geez, this head sculpt is so intense, so great. I mean, all of the detail on this figure, and you can't quite see it perfectly in this, but he's got a couple slashes there, so maybe while he was training Junkyard, things got a little unruly and wild, and he got a little big scratch there on his cheek. He still looks angry and fierce. I love that. See the chest hair. This really looks like some of the better chest hair we've seen on figures because it actually looks like chest hair, not just random scrapes of black paint littered across the chest of a figure. And then you see that hair on his forearms too. Same deal. Really great technique on that. The knife clearly comes out, and he got the medallion, the shotgun shells as well. And Junkyard looks ready for action. Note all that articulation. He's going to be clocking in with the same amount, it looks like, that we've seen from Timber and Fiona. Definitely going to be a deluxe set worthy of paying a little bit more, a little bit extra, but these guys blew me away. So thrilled to finally get them in the line. And that means that 1983 or 1984 series is really, really close to being completed. I think at this rate, we just need a classic colors Rakondo, classic colors Ripcord, not the Knife Force version is coming with the Dragonfly, and Blowtorch. And then we're all wrapped up with a full series of G.I. Joe single card, not the vehicle drivers, because there's still a bunch of them. Thunder, Cutter, Deep Six, you name it. Maybe Deep Six, though, stands a better chance than some of these others of getting a figure sooner in the Classified Series line. So then we're rolling to the biggest reveal of Comic-Con, and this is by far the vintage collection goes from Star Wars. It's $500, but it's already met its backer goal of $8,000, which is nuts. I mean, we still have 42 days to go, 8 hours, 31 minutes, and that's all about getting those tiers. It's about getting Ezra, Kanan, and Zeb, getting that 17,000 backers to get the whole crew done. But just take a look at this thing. It is so impressive. The scale of this is massive. See how Hera looks against it. I mean, whew, you cannot ask for more out of this kind of vehicle outside of making it for free. But this is a really massive playset. It just, all the detail they crammed into it. I mean, I'm not going to say, hey, it's a really great deal for $500, but I don't know if I feel like it's a ripoff either. So fantastic work from the Hasbro crew and the Star Wars team in particular. And congratulations for already getting it funded, so there's no worries on that end. But of course, it's all about getting those full tiers set up so you can have Hera having the whole rest of the crew with her. And just, man, that looks great. And I'm still trying to debate if I can somehow swing this and make it work, but they did a really great job on her, and so pleased to see how Hera and that Ghost turned out. And for all the hype, I think it was definitely worth it on that sense. And then this was really close because I thought my number 2 could have been the number 1 until that Classified Series reveal. Not sure if this gave it away that my number 1 was going to be G.I. Joe related, but my number 2 was such a great surprise. It was the Eradicator and Superboy from the Mafex Metacom Reign of the Superman line. Eradicator looks outstanding again, taking that right precaution to make sure that cape flares up over the shoulders so as it doesn't interfere with his articulation. The head sculpt looks nice and intense, like he is about to blast some criminals running around in his town. Superboy looks really intense and fierce. Gotta hope, gotta imagine that he's going to have two separate head sculpts. One of the sunglasses maybe a little bit hanging low down on the nose of the brim of his nose, and then a little cocky smirk. I mean, this is Superboy, and as long as he's scaled properly, i.e. shorter than all the rest of them, I'll be ecstatic. I mean, these guys really look good, and the fact that we've got the colored version of them already hopefully means we won't have to wait months and months and maybe even a year before we get them on the shelf. But really excited to get these two, and so excited. Now on to my number one, and I'm probably assuming that you're not going to think this is a surprise. It is Clutch and the Vamp. This is such a cool surprise because, you know, for so long we've been like, can we get some more vehicles into this classified series line? And it felt like there was a lot of momentum building for it, and now we finally see the truth, the proof, if you will, with this render. We're getting Clutch, we're getting the Vamp. It's not going to be behind a HasLab. It's littered with accessories, and that's a great thing because this is definitely a vehicle that they needed to make come out to retail, come out to Pulse. That way they can retrofit it, make the changes necessary to give us the Vamp Mark II and the Stinger, to switch it up. So that way we get three vehicles out of one mold essentially. And I love that it's got the bars here so another Joe can hold on and get a grip while he's shooting and firing away. The machine guns are removable and they rotate around just like you want for the Vamp. The gasoline canisters, the axe, the fire extinguisher, the shovel. Of course, you remember that from the original. Got a wrench for Clutch to work on it. Maybe you can get CoverGirl to help him out. But Clutch was one of my favorite original Joes, and I love that he was still worked on in the comic book for so long, and really happy to see him in this set. And once I saw him, I was like, yes! I felt like I was Dan O'Brien up in here when they revealed him, when they revealed the Vamp. And this opens up so many more windows to accessories and everything else I could possibly ask for this G.I. Joe Classified Series brand. The fact that we're getting vehicles and we don't need to wait for a HasLab, and they don't just have to be really small vehicles like a Trouble Bubble or the Cobra Coil or the Ram Cycle or Tiger Force Ram Cycle. Now we're getting a big vehicle that can hold multiple Joes. Such a great, exciting time. And then apparently in some interviews, the Joe team was saying, hey, the Sky Striker was probably off the table. Now it's not. And maybe it doesn't even need to be a HasLab. That's exciting. And the Thunder Machine might be on the table, and it also may not be a HasLab requirement. That is so cool. So yeah, this was a really great San Diego Comic-Con all around for me. I mean, there were so many lines. I didn't even mention the Ultra Magnus, Ratchet, Frenzy from the Transformers line, and I'm very excited about getting them. There are a bunch of honorable mentions, but I want to try to keep it somewhat focused, and I think I almost managed to do that. But really great stuff. What were some of your favorite showings and some of your favorite reveals from San Diego Comic-Con? Now that the dust has settled, now that you've had a few moments to gather your thoughts and go, yeah, okay, those are pretty good. I think I definitely need to get those. These are my highlights from the show. Of course, we've got PulseCon coming up, so there's going to be a lot more Hasbro products to come out, but got to keep my eye on now. More Jada Toys with their Street Fighter line, the Syndicate Collectibles with all their stuff they're bringing out, and see what else we're going to get from New Attorney or from the Masters of the Universe series and whatever else we get from WWE. So lots of excitement, a lot of exciting figures coming up for the rest of the year and into 2024. I didn't even mention Power Man, but so excited to finally see him. Really good stuff. Drop a comment. Let me know what you guys were really excited about seeing. And of course, I'll be back on for Thursday Night Live at 8:05 on Thursday. And that's it for this episode. So thank you so much, as always, for watching. This episode of Loud's Figure Files has been filed.